Sup? So, I may have forgotten to post a video yesterday, but honestly, I don't even have anything to say. It's just, it gets a little bit tiresome, especially with work, but, well, the show must go on, and I need to keep the content pipeline going, otherwise, by the time I get my new controller, maybe none of you will be subscribed. So, who knows? I guess we'll see. But when I last left you off, I told you pretty much about the time that I basically kicked my dad in the face. So, yeah, that afternoon I was basically sent home with what I was wearing. Nothing but my clothes, my phone, and whatever I could fit in my pockets. And around this time was, I don't know, like 2016, 2017. So, around this time is when Destiny came out. Destiny 2, particularly. And I don't know, it's just become my primary addiction. Basically, the way that I deal with things nowadays, the way that I kind of just forget about my problems, forget that the world sucks, and I just have something to do, something to distract myself with. It's always been Destiny 2. Since it came out, through highs and lows, Curse of Osiris, Beyond Light, and now Lightfall. I've seen it all. I've seen every single fuck up that Bungie has had with Destiny 2. And around this time is when I got really into Geometry Dash. It was not a great time for me, but against my father's wishes, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but one of the things that I mentioned to Arthur was that I needed a year of rest. Because by the time I was done, I would be tired and I would want to go back to, studying. That made his blood boil, but as it turns out, I was correct. At a certain point, I was just tired of basically doing nothing every day. And it was around this time that I went back to school. Oddly enough, where my grades were constantly dropping, after I took a year off, my grades just instantly were back up. Between 80s, 90s, and 100s, I was always like top of the class. But I remained the outcast. I don't actually remember a single person I went to with in high school. Only the people that I hated, but not so much the people that I actually was friends with, since I don't actually remember any of them. But as it turns out, all I really needed was a bit of rest, and that was enough. But in truth, I needed a bit of introspection. During this time of me really not doing anything, I realized that one person in my life was living the life that I always should have lived, at least according to me back then. Being the oldest child makes you the guinea pig. Nobody really knew anything, and I was just born into a situation where really I was an experiment. My brother, on the other hand, was always the favorite. Since he was born, he's always just hogged all the attention. And to say I was jealous would be to put it a little bit mildly. It would be a very, very gross understatement. I hated my brother. And especially having endured what I endured those 2 years and having just gone back home and seeing the person that I essentially deemed to the sink of the love that I deserved, it was not a good time. Of course, looking back now, I can see how it was just selfish and self absorbed. But the feeling hasn't really gone away. Though I was indeed a little bit spoiled, my brother took that to a whole different level. Between consoles, him actually being able to stay in school, him getting multiple friends, I'm pretty sure like, to this day, he speaks to kids he met over 5 years ago. My oldest friend I probably met around 2020. My brother has met his friends in school and stayed with them long after. I don't think I keep in contact with a single person that I met over the last 10 years. Only people that I actually speak to are people that I met on Discord. And I've always just had this deep sense of envy for my brother. Of course, I'm grown and it's just a little bit too late for that. What once was a very serious topic for me now looks as something that is just childish and, well, almost embarrassing. I got into many fights with my brother, and in many occasions I did some really petty things I regret to this day. So really, I'm quite thankful for the patience my family has had for me, but honestly, it's just kind of difficult to forget that they just stood by. Really, the only memories that I have of my brother are the times that something didn't work. I tried to fix it. I told him to find my father, and he interpreted that as a threat. My father came in and instantly beat me up because that is exactly what he did. One time the Blu-ray wasn't working. I tried to open it with a knife, told my brother to go get my father. Arthur basically busted down the door because my brother saw me with a knife and thought that I was gonna kill him, and well, the I got the beat down of the century that day. Once he realized what happened, he was immediately apologetic, but that left a scar. Between him being gifted his PlayStation, consoles, really just things that would have lasted a lot longer than my naive wishes as a kid. Let's just say that the envy started to mount up. It all came to a head really somewhere around 2019, 2018. And we just started to fight. I was just so done with everything. Having endured all that humiliation, having endured all that hatred, I had just lost it. I was over. So really, we just started beating each other up, and After a while, we just realized how pointless the fight was, and when we started talking, I just told him how I felt, how I thought he was always the loved child, how I was unwanted, how he was a spoiled brat. I was always sidelined in his favor. He had always had the life that I deserved. Something he actually, I think, would tell you is that he did witness a lot of the times that I paid for something that wasn't entirely my fault, while he never really got the same treatment that I ever did. Part of the reason my brother doesn't like my father anymore is because, um, he understands now just how much I suffered. He worries a lot about me nowadays, and I've grown to care about him again. There are many things I've done that I regret, and being cruel to my brother is one of them. There's not much that I can do to atone anymore. We don't talk anymore. Like, him and I have just drifted apart. Our relationship is severely strained, and, well, with him being in his teenage moody years, of course he thinks he's better than everyone else. I've been through that. It'll pass, but it'll be years before we speak again. Just the scars that have strained our relationship run a bit too deep. And at the center of it all is Arthur. Weirdly enough, it always comes back to him. Eventually, I got my own PS4 and, well, we just parted ways essentially. Though we live in the same house, we don't speak. He thinks I'm weird. I don't care to try to change that opinion. I've always been weird. I've always been looked down upon as the black sheep of the family. And I'm fine with that. I'm done trying to pretend that I'm something that I'm not. I'm done trying to fit in. So there are many things that I have done that I regret to this day. So really, I suppose I'm just living this here as a sort of apology. I'm not sure if he'll ever see this. I have no plans of sharing it with him, since this is more of a private diary, but if he ever does end up seeing this, which is unlikely, I hope he'll forgive me someday. But as it stands, what's done is done. I can't take back a lot of the things that I did, a lot of the things that I've said. As it stands, he has a brighter future than I do. I may be more talented and even more intelligent, but he has the hope that I don't have. So the only thing I really can do is be the father figure that he never had. Unfortunately, I'm just not that kind of person. I don't really have a way to end this, so I'll just stop right there. I'll probably make another video, probably like right after this one, since I do want to make a little bit more content, and the fact that yesterday I didn't upload, it is just not fair for my audience. Alright. I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care.